Okay, we're here on page 52, and this chapter is called Out of School. Dad didn't say anything when he met us in the lobby. We just walked out the doors without saying goodbye, even to the security guard at the reception desk. It was weird leaving the school and everyone else was still inside. I wondered what Miles and Henry would think when I didn't come back to class. I hated that I was going to miss PE that afternoon. My parents were quiet the whole way back to the house. We live on the Upper West Side, which is about a half hour from Beecher Prep, but it feels like it took forever to get home. I can't believe I got suspended, I said just as we pulled into the parking garage in our building. It's not your fault, honey, answered Mom. They have it in for us. Melissa, Dad yelled, which surprised Mom a bit. Yes, of course it's his fault. This whole situation is his fault. Julian, what the heck were you thinking writing those notes like that? He was goaded into writing them, answered Mom. We had pulled to a stop inside the garage. The parking garage attendant was waiting for us to get out of the car, but we didn't get out. Dad turned around and looked at me. I'm not saying I think the school handled this right, he said. 2-week suspension is ridiculous. But Julian, you should know better. I know, I said. It was a mistake, Dad. We all make mistakes, said Mom. Dad turned back around. He looked at Mom. Jensen's right, Melissa. If you keep trying to justify his actions, that's not what I'm doing, Jules. Dad didn't answer right away. Then he said, I told Jansen that we're pulling Julian out of Beecher Prep next year. Mom was literally speechless. It took a second for what he said to hit me. You what? I said. Jules, Mom said slowly. I told Jansen that we'll finish out this year at Beecher Prep, Dad continued calmly, but next year, Julian's going to a different school. I can't believe this, I cried. I love Beecher Prep, Dad. I have friends, Mom. I'm not sending you back to that school, Julian, Dad said firmly. No way am I spending another dime on that school. There are plenty of other great private schools in New York City. Mom, I said. Mom wiped her hand across her face. She shook her head. Don't you think we should have talked about this first? She said to Dad. You don't agree? He countered. She rubbed her forehead with her fingers. No, I do agree, she said softly, nodding. Mom! I screamed. She turned around in her seat. Honey, I think Daddy's right. I can't believe this, I yelled, punching the car seat. They have it in for us now, she continued, because we complained about the situation with that boy. But that was your fault, I said through clenched teeth. I didn't tell you to try and get Auggie thrown out of the school. I didn't want you to get Tushman fired. That was you. And I'm sorry about that, sweetheart, she said meekly. Julian, said Dad, your mom did everything she did to try and protect you. It's not her fault you wrote those notes, is it? No, but if she hadn't made such a big stink about everything, I started to say. Julian, do you hear yourself? Said Dad. Now you're blaming your mom? Before you were blaming the other boys for writing those notes. I'm starting to wonder if what they were saying is right. Don't you feel any remorse for what you've done? Of course he does, said Mom. Melissa, let him answer for himself, Dad said loudly. No? Okay? I yelled. I'm not sorry. I know everybody thinks I should be. I'm sorry for being mean to Auggie. I'm sorry I talked smack about him. I'm sorry I dissed him. But I'm not. So sue me. Before Dad could respond, the garage attendant knocked on the car window. Another car had pulled into the garage, and they needed us to get out. Oh, Julian! How could you be so callous? So mean? So heartless? So selfish? So non-empathetic? So disappointing. All right, next chapter is spring. I didn't tell anyone about the suspension. When Henry texted me a few days later asking why I wasn't in school, I told him I had strep throat. That's what we told everyone. Turns out 2-week suspension isn't so bad, by the way. I spent some of my time at home watching SpongeBob reruns and playing Knights of the Old Republic. I was still supposed to keep up with my schoolwork, though, so it's not like I totally got off to goof off. Miss Rubin dropped by the apartment one afternoon with all my locker stuff, my textbooks, my loose-leaf book, and all the assignments I would need to make up. And there was a lot. Everything went really well with social studies and English, but I had so much trouble doing the math homework that Mom got me a math tutor. Despite all the time off, I really was excited about going back, or at least I thought I was. The night before my first day back, I had one of those nightmares again. Only this time, it wasn't me who looked like Auggie. It was everyone else. I should have taken that as a premonition. When I got back to school, as soon as I arrived, I could tell something was up. Something was different. The first thing I noticed is that no one was really excited about seeing me again. I mean, people said hello and asked how I was feeling, but no one was like, dude, I missed you. I would have thought Miles and Henry would be like that, but they weren't. In fact, at lunchtime, they didn't even sit at our usual table. They sat with Amos. So I had to take my tray and find a place to squeeze in at Amos's table, which was kind of humiliating. Then I overheard the three of them talking about hanging out at the playground after school and shooting hoops. But no one asked me to come. The thing that was weirdest of all, though, was that everyone was being really nice to Auggie, like ridiculously nice. It was like I had entered the portal to a different dimension, an alternate universe in which Auggie and I had changed places. Suddenly, he was the popular one and I was the outsider. Right after last period, I pulled Henry over to talk to him. Yo, dude, why is everyone being so nice to the freak all of a sudden? I asked. Oh, said Henry, looking around kind of nervously. Yeah, well, people don't really call him that anymore. And then he told me all about the stuff that had gone down at the nature retreat. Basically, what had happened was that Auggie and Jack got picked on by some 7th grade bullies from another school. Henry, Miles, and Amos had rescued them, got into a fight with the bullies, like real punches flying, and then they all escaped through a corn maze. It sounded really exciting, and as he was telling me, I got mad all over again that Tushman had made me miss it. Oh man, I said excitedly, I wish I'd been there. I totally would have creamed those jerks. Wait, which jerks? The 7th graders. Really? He looked puzzled, though Henry always looked a little puzzled. Because, I don't know, Julian, kind of think that if you had been there, we might not have rescued them at all. You probably would have been cheering for the 7th graders. I looked at him like he was an idiot. No, I wouldn't, I said. Seriously? He said, giving me a look. No, I said. Okay, he answered, shrugging. Yo, Henry, are you coming? Amos called out from down the hallway. Look, I gotta go, said Henry. Wait, I said, gotta go. Want to hang out tomorrow after school? Not sure, he answered back, backing away. Text me tonight and we'll see. As I watched him jog away, I had this terrible feeling in the pit of my stomach. Did he really think I was that awful that I would have been rooting for some 7th graders while they beat Auggie up? Is that what other people think? That I would have been that much of a dirtwad? Look, I'm the first one to say I don't like Auggie Pullman, but I would never want to see him get beat up or anything. I mean, come on, I'm not a psycho. It really annoyed me that that's what people thought about me. I texted Henry later on. Yo, by the way, I would never have just stood by and let those creeps beat Auggie and Jack up. But he never texted me back. Take that, Julian. So I kind of feel like Julian's getting his just desserts, as they say. What goes around comes around, right? Yeah, I don't know. I'm starting to feel a little bit bad for Julian. Yeah, a lot of changes, but again, he kind of brought this on himself. All right, I'm going to stop there, but we'll catch up with the next few chapters, the next few pages in a little bit.